Hello. Now today we are again coming back to Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, the great novel. Through this fairy story of Animal Farm, the novelist wants to convey a number of things to us. This fairy story about the animals of Animal Farm is a good-natured satire upon Marxism and against dictatorship. The idea of communism are visible behind the thin veil of animalism. The animals are typical representative of Communist Party and they speak the language of communism. In this story, we get a glimpses of author's anti-communist feeling and ideas. The animals act as if they were humans. The novelist made a good-natured attack on communist Russia and German dictatorship. Animals clearly stand for various classes of man in dictatorial country. Thus, the outer story is just a cover for the political satire. To understand this satire in Animal Farm, we must recognize the human person shown by the animals. The following list was make it clear. There is so many characters in Animal Farm, and who represents whom we discuss here. Mr. Jones represents the Tsar of Russia. Manor Farm represents Russia before the revolution. Animal Farm Russia represents Russia after the revolution, and Old Mazer represents Marx and Lenin, both combined. Napoleon represents Stalin and Hitler also. Snowball represents Trotsky, who was driven out by Stalin. Scalar represents a modern propagandist. And then the pigs, who represents the ruling class of Communist Party, and the dogs represents the police in Communist Russia. The windmill represents here the 5 years plans, and Boxer the willing and faithful workers. The sheep here represents the stupid blind followers, and the rebellion here represents the October Revolution in Russia. From the above list, inner message of the story become clear. The story also serve as a warning against communism. The high hopes of equality of animals are at last fall to the ground. The working animals are still like slaves. The pigs became like man who enjoy privileges and comforts. The grim picture of the animals suffering under the regime of Napoleon always as deterrent to the people who advocate a society after Marxist idea. The story conveys the feeling that a power hungry leader can go to any extent to exploit the common man for his own ends. Society must be aware of such power hungry men and opportunists. The story ends on the note that communism is no solution to get rid of political and economic ills of human society. If we resort to communism for betterment of human society, we can only make them brainless creatures who obey unders um, who obey orders from above without questioning their wisdom and soundness. People living under Marxist rule are not better than animals. They do not enjoy liberty of any kind and are not allowed to think for themselves. In his satirical way, the author ends his novel. It shows the real condition of Soviet Russia. The story of Animal Farm covers the story of communist Russia from Marx and Lenin to the present time. Thus, Animal Farm is a masterpiece of political satire. Thank you so much.